What's up, guys? It's QahirTheConqueror here. Welcome back to my channel for yet another video. Thanks for tuning in. In this video, I'm going to talk about the best motivator almost over every other source of motivation. What will truly propel you to reaching goals, certain accolades, accomplishments that you may have. One of the best motivating factors in life for all of us. In my case, my personal experiences and my personal journey, me individually as a person, I have the ability to self-motivate. Not many people have that ability, or not many people can lock into that ability. Not many people can access that ability properly. But the intrinsic motivation in me, it stems from kind of when things go south and when things are not looking good. That motivation comes from, I would say, disgust. So for me personally, whatever I was trying to change, whatever we're trying to change, we're not really going to change. We're not really going to lock in. We're not really going to achieve what it is we need to unless, like I said, we're some super highly self-motivated person, or when we become disgusted with ourselves, when we become enraged by ourselves or external conditions, depending on whatever the source of change is. For instance, let me give an easy example. When it comes to diet, when it comes to food, lifestyle, health, stuff like that. Obviously, you can tell I'm not, somebody that's struggling with weight issues and things like that, but it's not easy for any of us, no matter what your body type is, your genetics or whatever. It's not easy. You don't just pop out the womb, fit and fresh and, and muscular and defined in tone. But when people struggle with their weight, there are many people, ask all the people that you might know, or if you've been there, you can go back and remember this. They all want to be better. They want to look better. They want to improve their weight so they can improve their health and therefore extend their lives. But just because you want to doesn't mean you're going to do it. Just because you want to doesn't mean you have the means to do it. You get the point. So in many cases, or at least I think more often than not, that person that's struggling with weight issues, like I said, going back, unless they are some super highly motivated person, and those people are rare, that just have all the energy in the world, just act on every single thought that comes to mind, they're not going to really challenge themselves and accomplish the goal of whatever their weight reduction is until they become disgusted with maybe how they look or what they're doing or the procrastination, etc. One thing about adults, about humans, about people that are over the age of associate with young age, like a 10-year-old, come on, they're 10, but a 25-year-old, a 40-year-old, 17-year-old, 63-year-old, like once we become of a certain age and a certain level of maturity, ask people. They know better. We know better. We know what we should do. We know what we shouldn't do. We know what we need to work on. We kind of have an idea of what we're pretty good at, you know what I mean? Where we already have our strengths, our weaknesses. If you listen to people, and it's not a bad thing, because we're honest, and we know that subconscious is real. People go, oh man, I gotta stop smoking, I gotta stop drinking, or I gotta stop staying up so late, I gotta stop spending all my money on this, I gotta stop gambling. Like, we know what our habits are, we know what's right and what's wrong, but although that person is saying, I gotta stop this, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, let's just be honest, it's hard to change. It's hard to just go in this direction, stop, and go this way. It's hard to just be living your life for 15, 20, 10 years this way, and then stop and go that way. not many people can just do that so easily. Not many people can just cold turkey quit things, dead things, change courses. That is a lot to ask on anybody. So one thing I've seen, experience from external observations, internal observations, nothing's gonna change in many cases until you become disgusted with yourself. And that disgust can be a good thing. Let me explain. So for me, I have struggled with addiction, habits, and mental things, the human realm, the human cycle of things that can plague us. You know, stuff that's good for us isn't always the most pleasant. You know, stuff that tastes the best isn't always the most healthy. You get the point. When you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, and I don't mean just the physical, that's a part of it. Like I said, if the issue in particular is weight, or if it's maybe lifestyle, healthy, whatever, then okay, it might be physical. But I mean, when you look to your soul, when you look in the mirror and you're looking at yourself for who you are, what you are in that very moment, and you're present with yourself, you won't improve until you become disgusted and repulsed by what you see. That's not bad, because that repulsion, that disgust, can invoke extreme change. Sometimes we need to sink to the depths in order to rise above the tides. Sometimes we need that process to unsheath the best version of us, like that plant that's covered in dirt, buried in the soil, water on top of it, smoothing it out, comes out beautiful, green, vibrant, or whatever the colors might be. You need that moment of repulsion, of disgust, to hatch the best version of you, because like I just explained, it's hard to just stop on a dime and do better. Sometimes people need to have health scares where their life is on the line in order for them to be motivated to want better for themselves or for whoever, because it's not easy. I have a lot of discipline, but I struggle in many ways. I remember when I wasn't eating healthy, and I didn't even know really some of the health effects that were coming from my diet, my lifestyle. But I kind of had a weird moment where I was looking in the mirror, I think, or I was taking a shower. Both actions happened, but it was like I saw myself and I saw what the result might be. I was able to get like a premonition on where I was leading myself if I kept that up. And although I wanted to do better, I was eating chips left and right, all the sweet snacks, I mean, sweet tooth, chocolate, shakes. I was going crazy. And although I was not morbidly obese and things like that, does that make it okay? No, I knew better. And I knew, like I said, how it was affecting me. But I couldn't make the necessary changes. I couldn't just go away from certain things, from those foods and activities and things like that, until I was, like I said, in that moment, I was disgusted by like who I was becoming, what I was doing to myself, because disgust in that moment helped me try to love myself more, because I realized what I was doing to myself. So one of the motivating factors for us to invoke change sometimes is one of the most unpleasant things you can be, to hate yourself, to be disappointed in yourself, to be disgusted in yourself, to be repulsed by yourself. That is not a pretty sight to see. We all want to love ourselves and look in the mirror and love what we see, love the reflection, but it's not always as simple, because being a human being isn't easy. Also, forget lifestyle and things like that, like our personal and interpersonal interactions with people. Like if you're human and you aren't some narcissistic, sociopath, psychopath, whatever, when we wrong people with our words or actions, subconsciously we feel that, even if we're bitter or if we did it out of spite or whatever might have influenced that decision. The self-conscious is powerful because that's that critic and that's that factor of accountability that we need, whether we ignore it or whether we tune into it. See, when we get into arguments with our parents or people we love, our partners, siblings, family, roommates, friends, let's say we say something that we didn't mean, or if we've been mean to people and we've been offensive to people because of whatever we're going through, like, you might, even if you do or don't apologize, or if you stop the behavior, or if you continue the behavior and allow it to happen, you might not be able to change in that moment until you become disgusted with what you might have said, or the way you presented yourself, or the way you acted or handled the situation. And then, although you made the mistake in that moment, or you have been making decisions that may not have been the best, once you become disgusted and you kind of become repulsed by that, it's easier now to go, you know what, this isn't the course I want to go on. I want to go this way. I've been going this way my entire life. I've been doing this sort of way my entire life, but it hasn't worked out. I've been eating whatever I want. I've been just throwing stuff into my body, knowing that it's terribly unhealthy for me, and it's literally showing in my physical person. It's literally showing in my life and my relationships with people. So now you'll have the motivation you need to fix those behaviors. See, we have to give ourselves grace and be patient with ourselves, love ourselves, but let's cut the crap. That's hard. That's hard to do, and it's not easy. So until you kind of sink to a certain depth, until you sink to a certain low, then you might not be able to rise much high, because you might not understand the severity of the situation or circumstance, whatever that may be for you. Like I said, for me, until I really was just completely upset with myself, nothing changed, because it was easy to make excuses, to put blame here, to not hold myself accountable. You know what I mean? It's easy. Like, our mind is a very, very powerful tool, very powerful thing, very powerful object. And it's so easy for us to go, well, you know, I'm eating unhealthy because I work at this time and this place closes here and I don't have enough money to cook and stuff like that. That might be right, but we're not thinking with a solution-oriented mindset. We're thinking of the problems only and allowing the problems to have power over us, as I explained in other videos. Go check those out if you want to understand that message. But we still know better. We know what we could try to do to appease our certain situations if those are hindering us. If it's hard for you to meal prep and things like that because you got kids, responsibility, your work hours are weird and this place isn't, you know, that might be true, but there is a solution. You have to find it. I can't do that for you because I have to do it for myself. If I could, I would, but nothing will really change when you focus on problems and not solutions, when you don't hold yourself accountable, and sometimes until you get disgusted with yourself or disgusted with your behaviors or disgusted with your environment. Just that disgust sometimes is best. If you're about to flunk school, or you know, you're so close to a dream and you're about to blow it all away because of whatever is holding you back, you have to sometimes go that low in order to come up from under what it is that's plaguing you. So just to kind of sum this video up, as humans, like I said, once we reach a certain level of maturity, a certain age, then you kind of have to go away with excuses, because now it's up to you. Like, you live with your parents up to a certain point, and then once they have done their best, hopefully, to give you the tools you need to now try to go make the best life for yourself, you can't keep finding people to blame and making excuses. Like, now it's on you to try to correct certain things or better or improve improve certain things in areas of your life. But we know what those areas are. We know, cigarettes are bad. We know substances are bad. We know we shouldn't drink all the time. We know we shouldn't starve ourselves because we want to, lose weight. We know we shouldn't eat 17 Twinkies in a row and Snickers. Like, you get the point. But just because we know better doesn't mean we'll always do better. Sometimes you need to experience that discomfort of being horrified by yourself, your actions, your behaviors, what you see, in order to change. So if you're watching this video and you currently have something, at least one thing that you know isn't good and that is holding you back in whatever regard, like health is wealth. Mindset is, besides your mind and a sane mindset, like what else do you have? You know what I mean? If life isn't going a certain way, or if things look bleak in a certain way, you want to lose weight, whatever that is, you might need to be disgusted before you can really invoke that change, because it's hard, especially if you've been on a specific course for so long. Then you might need to see yourself at your lowest in order to want to be the best version of yourself. So, to give a long story short, if you're watching this video and you can relate, you just might need to be patient and give yourself grace. But one thing I've said before on my TikTok in the video, when it comes to really wanting change, and when you have those lows and things like that, this isn't the best advice, but my advice is stay in that funk. If you're in a funk, go deeper and indulge fully. If you're depressed and things aren't going well, then sulk and wallow in it. Stay here, stay present. Don't do any harm to yourself. But you might need to go that low in order to say, this isn't what I want my life to look like. What am I doing? I'm not appreciating what is a privilege to have, which is life. So you might need to wallow in that funk in order to go, this isn't what I want for myself. And then in that moment of disgust, in that moment of repulsion towards what we hopefully want to look in the mirror and love, then you'll be able to start thinking of strategies to change, and small successes lead to huge wins, and things follow suit from there. So hopefully this video helped in any way, shape, or form. If it did, please drop a like, comment, or subscribe. Stay tuned for the next video.